What I'm going to now is communication. So communication is so important. It is so important. Some communication skill is important in every area of our lives, in our relationships, in our life. Communication is important. We all need to know how to communicate properly at all times. In the workplace, it's highly important. It comes in different styles, and the two major types, or the two major ways to communicate, is verbally and non-verbally. So I'll start with the non-verbally because it's shorter. So we have body language and posture, basically. So how do you talk? How do you talk with your customers face to face? Are you smiling? Do you look grumpy and tired every time? Are you always sitting like this on the decks, like I'm tired? Are you always looking away when they're talking to you? Do you talk with your hands? Do you have that reading when you're talking with them? Or are you just always like hands behind my back? I'm a robot, I'm just speaking to you. How can I help you? Or, and that alone can affect how a customer already perceives if they want to have that discussion with you, or if they want to create and build that relationship with you. In culture, communication is very important. Body language is very important. Some cultures pay attention to those things. Some cultures, if you put your hand in your pocket when you're talking to them, it's rude. Some of them, if you fold your hands, it's rude. There's so many things. If your right foot is doing something, and your right foot. So all those things are really important to people, and they're things that you should look into. You should be aware of when you are communicating with customers, especially face to face. So non-verbal communication really only applies face to face, because no one will know if you're folding your hands over the phone, but they can tell if you're smiling. But that is another discussion about phone etiquette. So 80% of our conversation, 80% of our interaction rather, in the workplace happens through communication. Is key. It is very needed with customer service and client interaction and relationship. So we're just going to be going through some basic steps of proper communication, because communication is so wide that we can't talk about it. If not, we'll spend the whole day here, but we'll talk about it in sequence, how it can happen sequentially in when we are conversing or communicating with clients or customers. Now, this would apply more face to face, because to just give it context, would apply more face to face. So the first thing to consider is always start your communication with your clients or customers with a smile. Always start smiling. Smile is so contagious. It can affect the person you're speaking to. So somebody comes in, I just want to do this, do that, and you're like, hi, good afternoon, welcome to whatever they are welcome to. And they might not smile, but it's already a warm welcome. Like, we are not angry, we are happy to have you here, and we hope you keep coming back. We are not upset that you walked in, because that's how people look actually when you walk into their restaurant, or you walk into their bank, or you walk into, and they're like, yes, just like, hey God, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to, are they happy to have me here? Do I really need to spend my money here? Do I really need to start a relationship with this business owner because he looks a bit aggressive and unfriendly? So that's what a smile does. It makes you look better. It makes you look welcoming. It's a friendly gesture. So the next thing is eye contact. Eye contact is, people complain about it. People find it really hard to keep eye contact when you're talking to people. And this is something I had to learn how to keep an eye contact when I have conversations. And eye contact are they're interesting, because when people are unable to keep eye contact with you, sometimes it makes you look dodgy. It makes you look funny. So you're about to close a 500 million contract with someone, and you can't even look them in the eye when you're talking to them. You can't look them in the eye when you're talking to them. So things like this, it's just an example, but eye contact is very important. Apart from the fact that it makes you look trustworthy and you know what you're doing, because some people can look you in the eye and they may not be trustworthy. But it also shows like I'm concentrating, I'm listening to you, I'm actively listening to you, I am in this conversation, I am interested in this conversation. So that is what eye contact does sometimes in a conversation, but it's a good thing to try and maintain or try to practice when you are talking to your clients, your customers. It just builds trust, it builds a connection when you're talking to them. And of course your appearance too also matters, which is more of non-verbal communication. Your appearance matters when you're communicating with people, how you look, how you present yourself, how you present the conversation. Are you using slangs? Are you using bad English? Are you swearing? Are you cussing out? You know, things like that. Things like that can be very sensitive for your customers, because sometimes how you present yourself is how you are presenting the company or the business. So that is very important too. And then the tone of voice. The tone of voice is very important too in communication. Are you screaming? Are you being aggressive? Because you may seem aggressive when you scream. Are you talking softly, like you're not interested in conversation, like they can barely hear you, or you are, you know, giving the voice like, oh, it's a casual date or something, and the customer or the client is misinterpreting what's going on because of how you sound? And are you sounding happy? Do you have a high-pitched voice that shows I'm excited to be at this meeting, good afternoon, you know, that kind of thing? Or is it just, yeah, good afternoon, so what would you like to do? No. Are you, your voice, your tone of voice, and even the choice of your words can also be a very important factor to consider when you're communicating with customers and clients. We'll be talking about choice of words, soon in communications. Actually, now we'll be talking about that in do's and don'ts, trigger words that you should avoid when you are communicating with clients and when you're communicating with customers. I always say this when I am taking trainings. I always say it's not really about what you say, it's how you say it. It's not about the no, it's why do you have to say no. It's about, you know, how you say it, how you convey the information that really matters. So it's not really about what you're saying, it's not about the situation, it's how you're presenting the situation most times. So the first, I'll just be taking some and I'll be replacing them with the right words. So the first words that is the wrong approach to use when you're speaking or when you're communicating with clients or customers is I don't know. You can replace that with I'll find out how, because sometimes you really don't know, but you don't have to say I don't know, because I'm sure there's someone that can help you know. So you can have the conversation. Well, I really want to help you with this. I would need to find out from the technical team how to work on this, because obviously they probably know that you're working in customer care or you're the marketing manager, and now the phone they bought from you is showing some error codes. So you will need to find out from the technical team, so that you can't just end it with I don't know. So what do you want the customers to do if they don't know? It's not their fault. It's not your fault too, but it's your company, it's your business. So I'll find out from the technical team how I can solve this for you, or I'll be transferring you to, you call the person's name and he will help you better because he works in the technical team. So the next trigger word is no. You cannot leave a customer with no. You are helping the customer at 0 level when you say no. Nothing is working. You can't say no. So you can give an alternative. So they want a replacement shoe. They bought a shoe and they want a replacement shoe. You can't say no. You don't say no. You say, what I can do is give you a refund. What I can do is give you a discounted one. What I can do is, start to think about ideas. And I think this is very important to have with if you're a business owner and you're listening to this and you have someone that picks up the phone for you, or you have employees, I think this is very important to discuss with them on how they can put alternatives to things and not just leave it as no, because that doesn't help the customer. That can even upset the customers. Another one is that's not my job. It's almost like I don't know. We clearly know that it's not your job sometimes, but like I said before, let me find the right person who can help you with this. So that is how to reply to things that attack you in that way, and you know it's not your job. Like, let me find the person that can help you with this, or let me transfer you to the person that can help you with this. You don't have to tell the customer it's not your job. That sounds very rude. Then another one is, you are right, this is bad. You cannot agree with the customer that what happened in your organization is bad. You cannot do that. You are betraying your organization, you're betraying yourself, you're betraying everything you're supposed to stand for, and it even shows like everyone doesn't know what they're doing. So if your customer says, oh, the room was leaking, so, or the food was bad, or the delivery came late, say, oh, I apologize, I understand your frustration, I don't know what went wrong, but I will get to the root of the problem. Your food came late to the delivery, your package came late, you did not get the email soon from one of your colleagues. You don't agree with the customer client and say, yes, that's really bad that my colleague did not send the email. No, you say, I understand your frustration and I will look to the bottom of this. In fact, sometimes you can praise your colleague and say things like, I'm surprised that happened, and I will look, because Paul is not usually, I'm just using the name Paul is not usually like this, but I'll find the root of the problem, maybe why the email hasn't been sent or why it was sent late. Even the bosses shouldn't do that. Even the managers shouldn't put their employees down when they're talking to the customer. You should always stand up for them and don't say, oh, that stupid boy, he did that to you. I agree, that's very bad, I'm going to scold you, in fact I'm going to sack him. No, you don't say things like that. Even if you are going to sack the person for what they have done, if it's really bad, you don't have to have that conversation with your customers. You just say, oh, I understand your frustration, that is strange. They are not usually like that, but I will see to it and I will get back to you on the solution. The customer was rude to someone and they report to the manager. You don't start to call your employees stupid in front of the customer or clients. You act surprised, like, oh wow, like my employees are not usually rude, but I will see to it that what happened and will rectify the problem. Then you apologize. Then you don't ask the customer you want it by when, because customers, they always place unrealistic demands sometimes. So like I said, don't lie to them. Tell them, I will try my possible best to get this to you. Sometimes you need to ask, maybe it's a pressing thing, maybe they want a delivery to their house, then you can say, what time do you want it? But when you're solving a problem, you can't ask your customer, what time would you want it to be resolved, or things like that. Always let them know you'll try your best, and try and keep control of the timing more than your customers, so that you can keep to that time and not be pressured on their own time. So another one is, do not ever say calm down. Even in life, don't tell people to calm down when they're upset. Just start by apologizing about the situation. I apologize, I'm afraid, I'm sorry this happened. Sorry is not really always the best thing to use with customers, especially when it's not really your fault. So you can say, I apologize, I'm afraid this happened to you. You can say, I'm sorry sometimes, but never just say calm down, will solve the problem more. Calm down, like, it just makes them more agitated. Then the next one is, don't ever tell a customer, I'm busy right now. Don't do that. That is horrible. They don't know you're busy, so they wouldn't have called you if you were busy. You are not supposed to be busy for them. They're your clients or your customers. So you say, I will be with you in just a moment. Maybe customer, clients walks up to you and they're really doing something that if you stop it, it can affect something else. Like, I'll be with you in a moment. Then you do it as fast as possible and focus on your customers. Then never tell the customer to call you back. Always call them back if you need to go. Ask for their telephone number and call them back. I'll call you back. Can I please have your telephone number? Take it down and call them back. Don't let the customer do the job for you. Always be at service to your customers and to your clients. It speaks good about yourself and your business, and it shows you care. And that is the whole point. People like to be shown that they're cared for. So try to exhibit that in your business. So that is that for the few do's and don'ts that you should be careful of when you are communicating.